Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video by me. Absolutely, this is not actually by me. It's actually being recorded by H2O as we speak, and he's here with me right now, and he's recording this absolutely. And as you can probably see by the score down the far right of the screen there, this is a tournament game. And since H2O didn't stream this live, like you'll remember in the round of 64 he played against Myth, and he recorded that live. And that was pretty good, and that went down pretty well. I thought, well, he didn't stream his games against Koenig Eric, but you said you will for the next ones in the round of 8.
Yes, I will. So instead, we're just kind of doing a commentary about the games, right?
Yeah, let's just do a commentary about this game. Why not? Let's just talk to H2O why you're doing this, that, and the other. And, yeah, going for an 80 food treasure.
Yeah, exactly. The reason why I'm going for the 80 food treasure is just because, like, the British Explorer, like, it's a Brit mirror, first of all, and odds are when you only have one explorer that he's going to be anywhere but exactly where I am. And so I ran down the middle and looked for 80 food and found it. And I need to adjust the sound real quick. Shoot.
Yeah, it's should be okay.
When you tab out, it like messes up the sound. All right, but yeah, so that's why I was going for the 80 food. It pays off here, as you know, he picked up 40 wood. Because I found this 80 food here, I know that there's no big treasures up in this area. And so what I did instead was come straight down here and start looking for small wood treasures, like the 50 wood or whatever, and that's exactly what I find right here.
Yeah, it's pretty good. But tell us more about, you knew they wouldn't be up there, because until we tried to record this about 5 minutes ago, I didn't know this, and I didn't know how apparently the map spawns treasures in it. Because there was a treasure in the middle of the map, you knew there wasn't going to be any treasures up in the top, which is something a bit, well, tell us about that. That's how it works?
Yeah, I've mentioned it a few times on my own stream. Some people picked up on it, some people didn't. But way in the first version of this map, actually, they only spawned in the middle of the big ones. And Garja fixed it. So now they spawn either in the middle, in the top, and very rarely they'll spawn in the bottom area. And so by seeing this food treasure here in the middle, I know that what's up here is just junk food, like 35 food or 35 coin. And so instead I'd rather cycle through this back area, get as many goats as I can, and look for these wood treasures. Having that knowledge of the map is getting me like 190 wood so far, or 140 I guess, because I got 250s now in my line of sights, and then this 40 as well.
Pretty good, and that's really good as British. Wood, of course, equals manors, which equals villages.
Yep, exactly, and it's actually just a free vill because I'm aware of how the map spawns. The other thing I did that I didn't really point out yet is I herded all these goats and I killed them very aggressively because they always kind of run away, and so I call them the Garja goats, but because they're just a pain. But
the Gaia goats.
Yeah, exactly. So that's my little nickname for them. They always seem to get away, so you have to kill them real early. And right now, I'm just trying to get enough food to age as fast as possible because you can cut one vill off your age up time from what people call standard. So, what were you gonna say?
I was going to say that not that many people's going to understand the Gaia reference there, but I thought that was kind of amusing actually. But yes, we're not going to explain it. But you're aging up a villager early, you said.
Yeah, a lot of times people will age with 18 vills on British with 2 house, but I did 17. But you can always go 1 vill earlier in standard.
So how come you want to do that?
By getting up early, like 1 vill earlier, I'll talk about it in a minute actually, but getting up a vill earlier is going to cost. You could potentially lose the game just because of that, because muskets will come out a bit later, and that's how if I lose a Brit mirror, it's usually just because I lose in like the first couple of minutes by them having like 5 more muskets than I do, and me having to struggle to deal with it. So I've made it a rule to myself that I'm going to get the first 5 muskets out no matter what, and it's been working out. So.
Oh, so you want to be up 25 seconds sooner by not training that extra villager and just making sure that you know that sort of extra, those 5, yeah, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
But they're not in your base on top of you being annoying, yeah.
Plus I have a shipment ready, and like you get a lot of XP from British houses, so like you may as well, like you get the 700 wood in 30 seconds sooner, everything's just 30 seconds faster, and you only lose 1 vill's worth of gathering time during the age transition period only. So I was a little bit late here on my racks too. Like this vill's coming out, I was like, shoot, I just gotta run out here and hope that he's not going full forward and like aging on time. And if we look at the age up times, like I aged up maybe 6 or 7 seconds faster than him, and that's because I did a really good job with my hunts and squeezed out the 17 a bit faster.
Fair enough. But how come you're building the forward barracks then? I feel like in a British mirror, you want to play defensive, and of course, just play defensive and boom. Obviously, in a British mirror, you sort of, well, it's a mirror matchup, so you can be more aggressive, I suppose. But obviously, Snow's building it in his base.
Yeah, and so I was scouting through the base to find his racks, and when I found it, I decided I can put my tower a bit more forward. The reason for this racks is because I want to when my muskets get out, I want to be able to do things with them immediately instead of having to walk halfway across the map. Like
Yeah.
now, this is like equidistant from anything I want to do, whether it's defend or be aggressive. Um, 700 wood coming in just now, and one thing I'm gonna do is skip 5 bills. I do 600 wood instead because it gives you more XP and gets you to the next shipment faster.
Yeah, and that's going to matter, of course. More resources come out, or yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and the other thing I want to point out is instead of walking my bills or building houses just as fast as possible in my base, I build them out. They give line of sight, which Vinny mentioned, I think, on the stream. But more importantly, there's less of a walk time for these villagers. And you'll notice I keep constant military production as a priority. But by having them spawn over there, it's really useful. It just saves villager walking time.
Yeah,
Right here's a big trick that I'm going to pull off. I come in with the explorer, hand attack on the villager, not on the low HP one. Like I switch over to the one, and now I split, and then
Ooh.
you'll watch again. This is a perfect split between the two, and
Oh my goodness!
and then I get out, and
Oh wow,
I,
that was pretty sick.
yeah. And so the reason why I queued up the second musket shot on the other vill instead of killing it because I knew he wasn't running fast enough. So I knew I'd be able to get the split shot off and take 2 vills for sure. And then here, this is really bad by him. He walks in range of the line side tower, and I see these, and then I immediately pull 8, and I was actually really happy about this. Because this is like Eric's style. He like what he does in the Brit mirror is randomly send like 5 muskets, usually through this path, but I guess he went the other way this time. So I saw it, and I had my muskets up here anticipating it, but since I saw it, I was able to come down here, and I guarantee if we switch to his point of view, he sees this dead animal, which I'll do real quick. Oh, he doesn't actually. Yeah, he sees a dead animal here, so he's coming to try to raid that, I'm guessing. And so I come here to cut that off, and I catch his musket. And now he's punished for going for that raid as well.
And you did that because you saw them in the tower, and you knew his style. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so the other thing I'm doing, you'll see these muskets are coming back here, and that's because I know that there's going to be a raid coming this way now too. Like I just know it. He always does it every game.
So I love, like, you know that he does this. I mean, yeah, you saw it with the tower, but most people would see them with the tower, but then wouldn't necessarily expect, oh, that's definitely a raid, but you knew it was, only because you'd done your homework and you knew what Eric does.
Yeah, see these muskets are in position for a potential raid that runs through this way. I have house line of sight here.
Turn the fog of war off, see if, like, where they are.
Yeah, here they are.
Yeah.
There they are. And so I see them coming, I pull these vills, and what's nice about this, you'll see this vill gets pulled with these, see it's like sprinting. Like it's kind of like a little trick you can do to pull the vill,
Yeah.
or pull any military unit, and so that vill got out of there super fast.
You can get them to sprint, so obviously they'll catch up with the rest of the formation. So if you know what you're doing, you can manipulate that anywhere on the map.
Exactly.
That's really clever.
Yeah, and so now I've shut down both of his raids. I cleaned this one up. He kind of got out multitasked almost. I think he's used to being, that he's used to those raids not being handled well. But since there was military here, he has to run now. And
Wow. And this is why people can accuse you of map hacking, but this is only skill. This is...
yeah, these idle vills are not skilled, though. I don't know what these guys are doing. There we go.
This is something beyond the cow hacks. This is just... yeah.
Another thing you'll notice, I actually canceled one musket I had started to start more muskets because I like to produce them at the same time. Just there's no reason to complicate my life by having batches finish out of sync with each other. And you'll notice too, I'm like perfectly macroed here to get muskets out, 10 at a time. And so I'm going for this backdoor raid because I know he's got 4 muskets I can chase down. And then I'm coming up here to assert pressure on the tower because I know I've killed a lot of his muskets. And I catch this vill going to hunt and immediately shoot it and then just keep going, not wasting any time.
Oh my word. Okay. Instead of letting them do the reload animation, like you kill it, and then before they can reload their guns, you've already right-clicked on the floor, making them walk.
Yep, and my goal here is I know he's seen this and he has to deal with it, but will he be able to deal with this and save the tower? My bet is he'll only do 1 or maybe none. And when I run in here, I'm like, oh yes. He doesn't react and pull vills, so I kill this vill first, and then I keep going. I still let this vill go. It's okay. I don't care. He's gonna die at some point, and I'm able to get 3 extra vills for that.
Yeah.
And
focus
mean
on the ones that are closest to his town center before the ones that are furthest away. Yeah.
exactly. And here, I don't care if all these muskets die; they're killing vills and building up his economy. I mean, I've killed so many vills, it doesn't matter.
Killed so many, and
So
like you're gonna keep going. You're gonna lose. No, now you're gonna get out. You're not that crazy.
yeah, well, he pulled out of range, and now I'll turn and try to fight these. But I'm also fighting him on this front too, just to try to keep him busy. And meanwhile, my only thought is just like he's in his base, and if I kill a lot of vills, I can easily outmass him. There's two more.
There's so many, and then
This
there's one over there. Are you gonna grab that as well?
I'm trying to. This one I don't get, unfortunately. You can see I paid attention, but just a little bit too late.
Mm.
And Venny was watching this fight. I was not watching this fight. I was watching this one because there was vills to kill, and these were just kind of let go.
Oh, I see. You just let them do whatever they want, and you probably look like a noob because of that, because they were just firing and.
Yeah.
But obviously, you were doing something a bit more important, and obviously prioritizing what you're microing is obviously that's about micro. Knowing what to micro is also being good at micro is also. I think people know what I'm trying to say. Continue.
Yeah. So the little nuances here that I'm doing behind the scenes are I've sent vills over here to start herding, and I've kind of remacroed my economy to make more stuff. Here, nothing really special is happening. This is just kind of like you'll notice I keep them in two groups, and this group will probably pull back a bit more, but he ends up having to run. The other thing is I've sent both the combat cards and he hasn't, so I want to fight nonstop because of that.
Yes.
Because I get like cost effectiveness out of the cards.
Yeah. So every time your units are fighting against his, and obviously his at yours, you've got a lead because of that HP upgrade. So you're very happy to just take absolutely every fight. Not against the Minutemen though.
Yeah, this one I'm just letting him pull out because I've got two more batches coming, and I know that when those come, the minute will be lower. It's just like it'll be really decisive to turn here. Like, and this is when I turn, and now he has to run, and unfortunately he stayed a little too long. And now if you're on the back foot with muskets, you'll see how many of them tend to fall. It's not ideal to be running.
Yeah, because you're taking shots in the back whilst you're. Yeah.
And honestly, if we go to view lock, this is all I'm looking at. Like at this point too, the reason why I ran in so deep like this is because he's so outmassed it's over. I know it's over, so I was just like, let's just end it. I dropped third racks though, and this is the timing for third racks. It's like you can just barely start doing triple racks at this time, so that's why I saved the wood to do it.
Because at this point, I'd like add in a stable and be like, oh, I need different units and like add to my composition. But then actually, you really don't in this British game. Don't leave the game just yet. You have a habit of doing that, I've noticed, at the end of games. Can we take a look at your shipments?
Yeah, sure. I guess I can talk through card order. So I started with 3 then 700, 600, and the 600 wood I used for houses and a second racks, I think, and that accelerates me into 5 vills.
Did you build any other houses out of, like, you just, obviously you had a couple of villages on wood throughout that game, I suppose, but you just built 700 and 600 wood. That was entirely exclusively it for housing, and obviously the XP ramped you into the next couple of shipments, and you skipped the 5 and 4 vills, and
yeah, but
even though they're technically more efficient.
Look at the resource gathered graph. Like this is a sign of a well thought out build. I just stopped wood. Like this is 130 house pop here in the second racks, and there's no one on wood at all. And the reason why I trickled onto wood here was to get enough wood for a racks, and you'll see 2,400 wood, and I ended with 2,644. So that's enough for the racks. And it looks like I had overgathered by 50 wood at some point. So it was pretty close to being.
This feels
exactly right.
Like 5 villages is certainly a more boomy shipment and more efficient because of that. Obviously 600 wood isn't going to get you that many manas, and you have to build the manas, and they take villager seconds to actually build them, and obviously 5 villages is better, but this feels like you're able to be more mid-rangey, sort of aggressive, because like you have all the pop slots you need, you've ramped into the next shipment, and that's really interesting how you value that more than the efficiency of a 5 vill shipment.
Yeah, and maybe I'm just wrong for it. I mean, I'm not
I think it works, like, clearly.
Yeah, I don't know, just the 600 wood feels way better, because you get the second racks.
Yes.
And then, can we take a look at the post-game?
Yeah, what do you want to see?
I'm not entirely sure.
We can look at villager count, I guess, so you can see the 2 vill pick here. Eric went for kind of a similar build to me, actually. He went for more houses with the 5 vill. Like, he played even more economic. So the XP difference didn't really show this game. I was trying to see it in the shipments graph.
All right, well, I feel like this post-game analysis is almost half the length of the entire actual game, so maybe we should wrap this up. Obviously, 2 more games in, of course, this series. and I
Yeah.
presume we're gonna go ahead and do those as well.
Yep, for sure. Let's
All
do
right,
it.
so those will come out obviously pretty soon, I guess, and see you in a bit.